Let's see about quadratic equations. I'll just show you the definition here. If a comma b comma c are complex numbers, so complex numbers means the numbers can be real or imaginary or a combination of both of them. For example, it can be of form a plus ib, where I is an imaginary number, right? Now, complex numbers a not equal to 0, then the expression ax square plus bx plus c is called quadratic expression. So what I mean to say is, when you have any expression like this in which a, b and c are complex numbers and x is a variable, okay, x is a variable, and if you observe it, the highest power of x in this one is 2, right? That is why it is called as quadratic. Quadratic means highest power is 2. Got it? And also a should not be equal to 0, right? In case if a becomes 0, then this highest power becomes 1. That is why we cannot call it as quadratic. And this is called the expression. And if you see this form, ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0 under the same conditions, where a, b and c are complex numbers and a is not equal to 0, if I equate it to 0, then this is called as a equation, right? Because we have something, the left hand side and right hand side, that's why it is called as equation. And next one is, a complex number alpha is said to be a root or solution of the quadratic equation given by this quadratic equation if a alpha square plus b alpha plus c equal to 0. So what we mean by this is, we call a number as the root of the equation if that number, if I substitute in place of x, if this equation gets satisfied, then that number is called as the root. Now how to find out such values of alpha? So if you have ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, fine. Now how to find the values of x in such a way that if I substitute that value in this place of x, I should satisfy this equation, right? That is called as finding the roots. Now since it is a quadratic equation, we generally have two roots, okay? Now we shall see what are the various methods using which we can find out the roots. Let's see this. Now first method is called as solution by factorization. Second method, solution by completing the square. Third method is solution using a formula. Fourth method is solution using graphs. So I'll take an example and explain you what each method does. Now if you observe this one, x square minus 5x plus 6 equal to 0. Now if you go with factorization, you are supposed to find out two numbers first in such a way that product of those two numbers is equal to this one and the sum of the two numbers is equal to this one, right? So for example, in this case, sum of two numbers should be minus 5 and product of two numbers should be 6. Now if you observe it, 3 and 2, minus 3 and minus 2 will satisfy it, right? Therefore minus 3 and minus 2 are chosen, right? And now you can write it in terms of this equation, x square minus 3x minus 2x plus 6 equal to 0. Once you get it, you can pull out x as common in first two terms, then you are going to get x minus 3, and minus 2 as common in the second two terms, last two terms, it is going to give you x minus 3. Now you can pull out x minus 3 and x minus 3 here, x minus 3 as common, then you are going to get x minus 3 into x minus 2 equal to 0. Now if you observe it, it is written in the form as if it is product of two numbers is equal to 0, right? Now if product of two numbers has to be 0, then at least one of them has to be 0 or both of them have to be 0, right? Then either x minus 3 should be equal to 0 or x minus 2 has to be 0, right? If x minus 3 has to be 0, then x has to be 3, or if x minus 2 has to be 0, then x has to be 2. Got it? So that is how you can solve it using factorization. And the next method is solution by completing the square. So completing the square means I'll try to write the quadratic expression in terms of squares of two terms, okay? Now if you observe it, x square minus 5x is given, right? So if you just see x square minus 5x, I could write it as x minus something whole square, right? So if I write x minus 5 whole square, see what I mean to say is I want to write it as x minus, let's say, b whole square. Then we know this formula is going to be x square minus 2bx plus b square, right? Now x square is already there, okay, and in place of 2b I need to get 5, isn't it? In place of 2b I need to get 5. So how can I get in place of 2b 5 if b happens to be 5 by 2, right? That is why I'll write it this way, x minus 5 by 2 whole square. If I write it like this, then it is going to become x square minus 2 into 5 by 2 into x, which is going to give me minus 5x, right? So first two terms can be derived from this, but then by doing so you will be getting one more term into picture, right? What is that? Plus b square, which means plus 5 by 2 whole square you are going to get. Just to compensate that, you just subtract 5 by 2 whole square, right? Now if you observe it, I am able to write the quadratic expression in terms of 2 squares, and anyway 6 is going to still be there, right? Now I can write x minus 5 by 2 whole square equal to this one. I am just sending it the other way. Now 22 by 4 minus 6, now it is going to be 1 by 4, right? So now if you observe it, x minus 5 by 2 whole square is equal to 1 by 4. Therefore this entire term, see, if this entire term has to be equal to 1 by 4, then this entire term can be either 1 by 2 or minus 1 by 2. If it is 1 by 2, then it is going to be whole square is going to be 1 by 4. Or even if it is minus 1 by 2, the whole square is going to be 1 by 4, right? That is why x minus 5 by 2 can be either plus 1 by 2 or minus 1 by 2. Now, one time you can take it as plus 1 by 2, and other time you can take it as minus 1 by 2. And if you compute the value of x, again you are going to get the same values, x equal to 3 or x equal to 2, right? And now let's try to solve it using the formula. Now the formula is minus b plus or minus b square minus 4ac by 2a. Now if you try to substitute in the formula, minus b, here minus b is nothing but b is minus 5. Okay, see, the form that we imagined is x square, ax square, see, ax square plus bx plus c. If this is the form of the quadratic equation, then that is the solution. Solution can be found out using this formula, right? Now if you compare the terms, then you will find out that a is 1, b is minus 5 and c is 6, right? So b is minus 5, and so minus b equal to 5, right? 5 plus or minus square root of b square means 25 minus 4ac. So 4ac is going to be 4 into a means 1, c means 6, right? So this is going to be 24 divided by 2a. 2 into a is 1. Alright, so now if you substitute it, you are going to get 5 plus or minus 1 divided by 2. So this value is going to be either 3 or 2. So again, using the formula also we are going to get the same answer. Now the fourth method is you can use graphs to do that. Now how are you going to use the graph is, if you are going to plot the values like this, let's say this is ax square plus bx plus c. In this case, let us assume that y-axis represents the left hand side of the equation, which means x square minus 5x plus 6. Let's say this is y-axis representing that, and x-axis is representing x. Now if you try to plot the graph, you will see something like this, some kind of graph like this, right? Maybe here when x equal to 0, this value will be 6, right? And here the value will be 2, and here the value will be 3. So therefore by plotting the graph also you can find out for what values of x, this equation is becoming 0, right? For the value of 2 and 3, the equation has become 0. So this is the method using graphs. Now we shall see with some more examples, and we shall try to solve those examples using these methods. You will understand it better. Okay, fine.
Hi, if you are planning to do masters, then doing masters abroad is better than doing masters in India. I'll give you all the reasons. So first reason is, out of 1 lakh students who take GATE every year, there are only 500 seats in old IITs. So all the IITs put together have an acceptance rate of 0.5%, and IITs, universities better than IITs, they have very good acceptance rate like 30%, 40%, but all the IITs put together have an acceptance rate of 0.5%. And if you are working hard to get into IIT Bombay's ranking is 177 and IIT Roorkey's ranking is 400. If you are happy to get into IIT Roorkey, then getting into universities better than IIT Roorkey is easier compared to getting into IIT Roorkey. And looking at the salaries for computer science, for software jobs, if you have done your masters in computer science in US, the salaries are ranging from 80 lakhs per year to 1.2 crore per year. So even if you take an average of 1 crore per year, your savings will be much higher than the salaries in India. After taxes and your cost of living, you can easily save 40 to 50 lakhs per year. And in India, the maximum jobs that you get is around 30 lakhs. So your savings will be much greater than the salaries in India. And these are all the services that we provide. University shortlisting. So depending on your profile, we will shortlist what are the universities that you have to apply, and statement of purpose building, and then LOR guidance, and GRE and English test assistance, and education loan assistance. So you don't have to have any collateral, which means without any security, now you can get education loan. Getting education loan is very simple these days, and whatever the amount of fee that you have a range of universities. You can apply for 10 lakh universities, 20 lakh universities, or 50 lakh universities. But whatever it is, you are going to get complete education loan, and you can pay off your education loan in 1 year after you get a job. And then we do visa assistance, mock visa interviews, and then connecting with the university alumni. So now you might ask why we should join Game of Visas. So the answer is we have 90% success rate, 99% success rate. And these are all the destinations that we guide the students to. So we guide students to any country that you want to go. So now it is not just USA. We guide to UK, Germany, Australia, Canada. So we guide students to all the countries. We work with all the destinations. And if you are interested in going abroad, you have to just drop us a message on this WhatsApp number 9494 555 454. Okay, thank you.